Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, finally, there is something to do on OPTC Global. Unfortunately, though, it is Treasure Map. So Treasure Map Garp has just popped up on OPTC Global, and we want to make sure we're in the new world, and we're going to be testing those teams that I put together for you guys in the prep video, and I'll leave a card for you guys at the top here if you guys want to check that out. But I mean, this is probably the best way to see how the teams function anyway. Now, as I mentioned in that video, I didn't actually do any summons, so these teams are all built around non-point boosted teams. If I can try and find some of the point boosters, I will try and use them as friend captains, but with the way that these teams are set out, it's not really that big of a deal, as I'm not really planning on trying to rank too high in this treasure map. So as usual, you do want to try and pick up this bird if you possibly can. Well, you definitely can, and you always want to try and take on the intrusion just to maximize your point growth, so you guys can hit the milestones to get Garp as a character, as well as pick up some juicy reds as well. If you guys can, stay in the New World, as the drops in New World are just so much better than the ones that are available in Grand Line and East Blue. So if you can, make sure that you are in the New World. So I'm going to try and get this interrupt, and then I'm going to fast forward, hopefully get all of the mini bosses to pop at the end. So I try not to take any on along the map for you guys, so we can see them at their max potential. So the interrupt or the intrusion battle is against Blackbeard. Now Blackbeard is a quick unit, and this is the team I had put together. Now Blackbeard does have resilience at the end, so you do want to have end of turn damage somehow. I'm actually using the Dreadnought Saber, and strikers and cerebral characters are boosted for this particular fight, as they get a whole bunch of cooldowns at the start of the fight as well. Alright, so for this fight, I am going to be using double VV Rebecca, as cerebrals and strikers are boosted. So VV Rebecca are very, very good for the intrusion against Blackbeard, where V2 Shirashiri actually really good for the final boss against Garp. So we are using double VV Rebecca. Now, if you guys are struggling with the resilience and you can't get around it, you can replace Kobe on this team with Coliseum Kid. Coliseum Kid does end of turn damage, and he's a striker, so that's another option for you. I did want to try and use the Garp with the Tsuru support as well. That is an option for you guys, but I just don't know if he's going to have the cooldowns in time. On stage 2, we come up against Van Ogre. Now, Van Ogre is actually going to bind our crew members, so this is where having a VV Rebecca captain is very, very good, as we can easily remove that and give ourselves an attack and orb boost. We also get a chain lock on this particular stage as well, so that's why using Leo is actually really, really strong, as Leo can actually remove that. We can also use the Neptune special on this particular stage, as we can get color affinity for 3 turns, and because VV Rebecca have color affinity against both of them, we can easily take out this stage. The color affinity is not really essential, but it's 3 turns, so we may as well use it. On the final stage against Blackbeard, he is a quick unit, so we do want to have our dex variations of VV Rebecca. He's going to special bind our captains, but with VV Rebecca's switch ability, we can remove that, and then we can just use our VV Rebecca special for an attack and an orb boost, and then we can actually use our Shirashiri special to give ourselves a chain buff mechanic, as well as get a whole bunch of rainbow orbs. As you can see, Kobe is just here as a point booster, as well as color affinity for my team, and you don't really need him, so that's why you can easily replace him with Kid. But with the Dreadnought Saber, as you can see, we get that end of turn damage, and we can easily take out Blackbeard. So that was the intrusion battle, guys. I'm going to fast forward now to the end, so let's take on the mini bosses, and we're going to take down Garp. So onto the mini-boss stage now. The first boss we come up against is actually Brownbeard. Now, as I mentioned in my prep video, I am aiming at moving through these fights fairly fast. But on the first stage against the first mini-boss, it's always good to try and find a high point booster, as this stage is stereotypically the easiest of the bunch. Now, I did find an ace character, but I do want to actually save him for the final stage, so I'm actually just going to use double Enel. If I could find like a Sabo or a Luffy, I would definitely use them for this fight, as Enel's basically just going to do all the heavy lifting for us and just blow away all the stages just by single tapping. Using Enel on this particular stage, or double Enel, is very, very handy, as the end of turn damage from the 2 Enels that we can use actually provides a lot of damage. Now, it is side damage, so as you can see, a single Enel Blast is actually not taking out the other colors. But if you do come up against the colors, what you can do is you can actually, if you're running one of them, you can actually just tap once on all the characters and then just let Enel do the end of turn damage there. That way you can get a little bit more points. But obviously just bringing 2 Enels should be a little bit quicker as you get the double end of turn damage. Once we get to the final stage, unfortunately, because we have been moving so fast, we actually don't even have our specials ready. That's going to be a little bit of an issue. So we are actually just going to have to take a single turn of stalling against Brownbeard here. Brownbeard puts up defense up, which is really not big of a deal, that big of a deal at the moment. As you can see, we can still do a lot of damage, but we are only 1 turn off getting our Queen special and our Zoro special. Zoro is going to give us an orb buff, Queen's going to give us a chain lock, and with that we shouldn't have too many issues as we have removed the defense as well with Queen. As you can see though, we do have type advantage, so just those big blasts from Enel does the work for us in these early stages, but as time goes on you probably will need to use some specials. But as you can see, Enel gets through it fairly fast. It's pretty brain dead too, which is great because treasure map can be a bit of a bore, but it is what it is. On to the next mini boss, we come up against Rayleigh. Now against Rayleigh I am using a full cerebral and striker based team led by Kazuna Hawkins. Now Kazuna Hawkins has actually got a decent captain ability. He's a flat rate 3.5 to cerebrals and strikers and makes Psi Orbs beneficial. We do have Coliseum Kid on this particular team because we aren't using him on the, or actually you can use him on the Interrupt as well now that I'm really thinking about it. But he's going to help us blast through stage 3 and stage 4 as he does end of turn damage. The beautiful thing about using Kid as well on stage 3 and 4, that's basically when we get more mob enemies. So the first 2 stages is stereotypically 3 enemies, and then 3 has 4, and then stage 4 has 5 enemies. So we can use Kid here to actually give us some cooldowns, and because we're still single tapping, we can actually get cooldown as well, which is really, really nice. Like really, really nice. Unfortunately though, as you can see, we are moving fairly fast, and the issue is we don't actually have cooldowns. Like, I don't know what's going on with treasure maps lately and not giving us the correct amount of cooldowns for these particular fights, but it's starting to get a little bit frustrating and a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. On the final stage against Rayleigh, he has 5 turns of Threshold, gives us a full board of unfavorable slots, and that's about it. So with Hawkins special, we can remove the Threshold, but we also get nullified damage against int units, which Rayleigh actually is. We can use our Hina special as well. Hina's going to lock our orbs, which is a little bit annoying, but she also gives us cooldowns. So we can use our Kobe special. Kobe's going to give us an attack boost. And ideally, I wanted to have the Sabo special ready as well. But as you can see, because Hina gives herself an orb, we can do quite a bit of damage. Now, I'm not 100% sure how well this team's going to go moving forward. But because we have both Hawkins specials available to us, we can actually tank 2 shots on Rayleigh, as he's going to do no damage to us whatsoever, as Hawkins nullifies damage completely. I don't know if he has any interrupts or anything like that. But if you need to, just take 2 turns on this particular stage, get him to around 50%, and then you can use your other, like your Hina and your Kobe special after you've done damage. That way you don't have to worry about having unfavorable slots. On to the next fight, we're coming up against Sengoku. So against Sengoku, we are using a Verse Kaido team. Sengoku is a dex unit, which means that bringing a lot of strength characters is going to help us out taking on this particular fight. And if we can, by any chance, if we can get the versatility of Kaido off, it's going to make our lives a lot easier. The beautiful thing with Kaido is he actually gives cooldowns at the start of the fight, which means moving through these fights, like moving through is actually going to be no issues whatsoever, as we get 2 turns of cooldown for each Kaido. We do have Treasure Map Zoro on this team to help blast through stage 3 and 4, and with this particular fight, as long as you have the new the previous Treasure Map Kid, we can actually get through this stage fairly easily, as once we get to this final stage against Sengoku, we get Blind, Despair, and Paralysis, which means that when we use the special of Kid, we can actually get all of the extra buffs from his special. But what we're going to do first is we're actually going to pop both of our Kaido specials. That way we get a higher attack boost, as well as getting the 20% damage reduction. Now on the early stages, it's really not going to be that big of an issue, as just with Kid's special, doing a whole bunch of damage. Wow, that was a lot of damage. We get a full board of orbs, an attack boost, a color affinity boost, a chain lock, but unfortunately we're still stuck with the Gloom. We don't have our Chopper special ready yet, which is a bit of a bummer, but as you can see, we just do so much damage with the Kid special. It's not a big issue, but with this particular team, you may just have to stall 1 extra turn, as getting that Chopper special may be a little bit of an issue. I might have a look and see if there's another unit we can replace Chopper with, but basically you need someone that can do 5 turns or 2 turns of Despair and Bind. That's the big thing. We might slip Kobe onto this particular team actually, because he can do that, but I'll have to have a look at that. But as you can see, like in the early stages, it's not going to be an issue whatsoever, and you can easily just stall 1 turn. On to the next fight now. We come up against Whitebeard. So with Whitebeard, we are running Blackbeard as our captain, and ideally with this fight, I actually want to bring a friend Kaido. With a friend Kaido, we can easily just single tap and just let his Blast Burn take out all of the fodder stages, making it a bit faster and a bit easier to get through this particular fight. We don't even need the Kaido special on the final stage, so without him getting cooldowns, it doesn't really matter. And only bringing 1 Kaido is basically going to do tons of damage, and we don't really need 2. With this team too, we have sort of built it around Strikers and Powerhouse, besides the Sabo and the Akainu down the bottom. But with the Sabo, he can actually give us color affinity, and with the Akainu, we can get a conditional as well as an attack boost. Because there is no defense down immunity on the final stage, Akainu on this stage is actually really, really good, as he's actually going to output a lot of extra damage. What I'm looking at here is we're going to run into that same issue with cooldowns. Cooldowns for this treasure map just don't seem to be that effective. I think we had the same issue with the previous treasure map as well. So looking at what's like in front of me, I may need to sort of reevaluate these teams, or look at a way of getting some more cooldowns. Because we're not even close to getting Blackbeard special. Like, not even close. These characters are meant to be boosted, Bandai. What is going on? So, here we are. Okay. Well, I'm going to get 1 cooldown there, but I think we're just going to have to just pass a turn here against... well, we're going to kill with the block orbs, but as time goes on, that's actually going to get a little bit tougher. So we're going to have to stall out for that Blackbeard special. And eventually, when things do get harder, we're going to have to replace Kaido with a friend Blackbeard. That way we can stall, and Kaido just doesn't do the work for us. I don't know what's going on, Bandai, but you need to fix these cooldowns, man. This is not cricket. This is not cricket at all. But nevertheless, the teams are working fairly fine moving through these boss stages. But obviously, this is still early days. And as I mentioned in my prep video, I don't really plan on going too hard this treasure map. So on the final fight against Garp, I do actually want to test the double Viva Rebecca. Now, Shirasheri is really, really good for this fight. So possibly bringing 2 Shirasheris is going to be the way to go. But actually, we have Ace. We're going to bring a friend Ace. What does Ace's captain ability do? Apologies about the delay here, guys. Free spirit characters attack by 1. Okay, well, let's just go for it for now. Ace is the highest point booster, so if I can find Ace on this final stage, or even for the interrupt, I think for the interrupt Ace is going to be a little bit better. I'm definitely going to use him where I can. With Garp as well, Garp is actually a 1.35 times booster for his own treasure map, which is really, really nice. So I'm actually going to slide him in replacement for Big Mom on the first team you guys saw. That way we can just get a little bit more points. Being a 1.35 times booster, Big Mom on that team's not really providing too much, and as you guys saw, Enel just does all the work for us. As we make our way through this particular stage, we do want to try and get our cooldowns, as I've been whinging about it this whole video. So with this particular team, we are running the Shark Superb, which gives us cooldowns as well. And on stage 4, we come up against Kobe. Against Kobe, he is going to give us Gloom for 5 turns, which actually goes down to 2 with Sockets, which is really, really handy. But what we're going to do on this particular stage is we're actually going to use our Shirahoshi Mancherry special. Shirahoshi and Mancherry are going to remove the Gloom and the burn that Kobe applies to us, and they're also going to give us a full board of rainbow slots. With the switchability of Vivi and Rebecca as well, we can get a chain buff, and we can take out Kobe easy peasy. Onto the final stage against Garp. He is a strength unit, and he is going to turn all of our orbs into block orbs. He's also going to give us 3 turns of attack down, and he's going to give us 98 turns of blindness. So this is where having another Shirasheri is really strong, as you can get rid of the blindness with their special as well. We're going to switch with our Viva Rebecca. That way we can get the chain multiplier buff. We've got Beppo and Sachi and Penguin specials to give us a full board of quick orbs, which Viva Rebecca make matching. We can remove the attack down with Frankie. Frankie also removes beneficial effects, so switch with Vivi Rebecca after you use the Frankie special. I did goofed there. We're going to use our Vivi Rebecca special here to give us an attack and an orb boost. We have color affinity with Neptune, and then with the friend Ace, we can set the defense low as well as do a conditional boost. Now with Ace, I think he's got like an issue with the translations, but he's definitely a defense down and a conditional boost to himself, which is really, really good. The downside here is we still have blindness, so bringing a friend Shirasheri is going to help with that, as they have color affinity as well, and you don't need the 2 Vivi Rebecca specials, and that way it's just going to be easy to hit goods. But as you guys saw there, it's really not that big of an issue hitting the goods. They are like the easiest of the 3, in my opinion anyway. But that's the playthrough video for the new treasure map against Garp. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me, and if you are new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!